Johnny Schomburgk's career was finished. His family made clear motor racing was just too risky in the 1940s, but his car needed a driver, and so he turned to his mechanic. Would he answer the call? Jack Brabham said yes, and became the greatest driver Australia has ever produced. A three-time champion of the world, and the only one to win a title in a car of his own construction. A driver so good, we're racing for his steering wheel all these years later. That's the trophy for the winner at the Australian Grand Prix. Welcome to round 3 of the Formula 1 World Championship in 2023. We are heading around the 14 turns of the Albert Park circuit with 4 DRS zones for the drivers to make use of. It's the 26th running of the race here, a race that has seen so much drama, and these old two foes on row 2 of the grid. This was Hamilton going around the outside of Alonso on the way to changing a little bit of motor racing history. That was a vital third one in his first ever race. Kubica versus Vettel, one driver trying to hang on to second place, and a mighty mess made. Kubica was in the mix to win that Grand Prix back in 2009, and we fast forward to last year. Perez versus Hamilton, and Perez will be hoping to amass plenty of overtakes today. The tyres for the Grand Prix: the soft, the medium and the hard, but specifically the C4, the C3 and the C2 tyre available to the drivers in the field. The favoured strategy is medium to hard, so any variation is going to be a bit of a gamble, or you think you were out of position, hard done by qualifying yesterday. It's Perez and Bottas in the pit lane, leaving us 18 drivers on the grid, with Logan Sargent for his third start in 18th and Zhou Guanyu in 17th position for the Australian Grand Prix. The home favourite, who grew up just 10 minutes away, Oscar Piastri, is 16th, Nick de Vries 15th on the grid. Then comes Kevin Magnussen at a circuit where he's been on the podium. Lando Norris is 13th, he hasn't reached Q3 this season. Then comes Yuki Tsunoda, the lead AlphaTauri, and Esteban Ocon, who saw a run of Q3 appearances disappear. And then Hulkenberg is in 10th, Pierre Gasly in 9th position, where he's finished the last 2 races. Alexander Albon is in 8th position, the closest Williams have been to pole in many a year. He's next to Charles Leclerc. Then it's Lance Stroll, who lines up next to Carlos Sainz, 5th on the grid. Alonso has his best start here since 2014. Lewis Hamilton is in the top 6 for the first time this season. And on the front row, George Russell for the 7th time in his Formula 1 career. Max Verstappen taking a first ever pole position. And the Australian Grand Prix is go! Good reaction time for George Russell on Verstappen. They're nearly banging wheels. In the background goes Charles Leclerc into the gravel trap and off the road.
Yeah, it'll be a safety car. It'll be a safety car because Charles Leclerc is beached. George Russell hooked it up nicely on that initial drive. That's exactly what we saw the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso do in Saudi.
Albon off the road, gravel all over the circuit. He's missing a front wing, and his perfect weekend has come undone with the safety car deployed.
Make sure you're all okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's such a shame. Such a shame.
Russell has pitted, David. Russell has pitted from the lead, so Mercedes seed track position for George Russell.
There's Albon just oversteering his way to the barriers at the quick turn 6 now. Scatters gravel all over the circuit, and he's perched there right on the racing line.
Red flag, and that completely changes it across the board. And George Russell has given up track position when everyone now can make a tyre change under the red.
Look at this though, if you're further back, you're almost stopping.
They were. Look at Zhou Guanyu there, having no choice but to overtake a sea of cars. Yeah, and look at that! Look at, and we're racing once again at Albert Park. Good reaction time for Lewis Hamilton. Good reaction time for Fernando Alonso, who's trying to go around the outside.
Contact.
Oh, off the road in the background goes Nick de Vries.
This is going to be the chance then. Verstappen will get DRS.
Around the outside goes Max Verstappen. Can Hamilton fight back? There's nothing Hamilton can do, and Max Verstappen roars past.
Hamilton has to defend to the left.
Trying to go past the Alpine. Will he be given room? He will, and George Russell completes a tidy pass. Russell dropping down the order. Got to be a problem for George Russell. There is a problem. He's pulling off in the background of your shot, and the British driver has a failure. He's done it again, Sergio Perez at turn 9.
Perez on Piastri here. Same corner. No, not around the outside.
Around the outside, Sergio Perez. Whoa, finally Carlos Sainz to the inside and taking 4th place with a late lunge.
When you're in the cockpit, you glance in your mirrors, and then of course you have to look at where you're going, and almost clip the back of him.
Big moment, that's got to be Max Verstappen off the road. There was a noise from the crowd, we cut to it mid-shot, heading to 13, and this was very nearly the race getting away from Max Verstappen.
Second last corner, locks it up and onto the ground.
And he make the way by on the outside. There's a chance now for Lando Norris to go to the inside. Side by side they go, and it's off the road for Hulkenberg.
Here we go. This time he just gets on the gas a little bit earlier, squeezes the throttle, gets that overlap.
And that's a tyre carcass off the back of the house. That's Kevin Magnussen.
And did he hit the wall? And that's what caused it. Well, that leaves the jitters for everyone else. Just don't hit the wall.
Red flag for the 2nd time in this Grand Prix. It's 2 laps to sort out who wins this one. Immediately Verstappen is chopping ahead. It's going to be close to contact, and Fernando Alonso is spun round, and there's a crash in the back of the field into the wall. Oh, he's deep. Stroll into the corner. It's total chaos. Red flag again. Carnage. Absolute chaos.
Alonso gets a good start, is running with Hamilton. Look behind, it's actually Sainz and Gasly that are side by side. Sainz goes in hard with Gasly, and Gasly goes in deep enough himself. Sainz tips Alonso into the spin. Then you've got your 2 Alpines that must come to blows themselves then afterwards, and Alonso's looking at switchback time on Hamilton, hits the right rear of Alonso.
Rolling start procedure across the line. For the first time in his Formula 1 career, Max Verstappen wins the Australian Grand Prix.
And well done.
Here's the result of the Australian Grand Prix. Verstappen taking his 2nd win of the season and his 1st in Australia. Lewis Hamilton's 1st podium of the season. Mercedes' 1st podium of the season. In 2nd place, Fernando Alonso. All 3 Grand Prix this year in 3rd. But what drama on that late restart. It nearly cost him. Max Verstappen extends his lead in the World Championship. It's out to 69 points. Then Sergio Perez. It's Fernando Alonso with 45. Lewis Hamilton closing in on him though in 4th place. Sainz finds himself in 5th. Stroll P6. And it's Russell, Norris, Hulkenberg and Charles Leclerc.
It was very chaotic today, a bit of a mess to be honest. Especially the 2nd red flag, I think that was really unnecessary today. That could have easily been solved with a virtual safety car or a safety car at most. But yeah, we got that red flag, and then you basically create even more trouble because then you go out on very cold tires. The safety car is driving super slow, and you arrive, to the grid with stone cold tires. And you could see everyone in turn 1 was having a lot of trouble, and especially the cars in dirty air. Nobody crashes on purpose, but everyone went wide or had a touch, and yeah, it was just very chaotic.
This is an incredible result for us. We came here. Thinking the car was the same. So we were thinking it's going to struggle for a few races until we can find some sort of upgrade to bring later on down the line. And that could be like 5 races away. So we're like just going to just thug it out for like 5 races and see how we do. But for us to qualify on the front 2 rows and then be in the mix with both 1st and 2nd for a second, oh my God, it was really super exciting and really unfortunate for George because he was doing such a great job. But to have a great battle with Fernando was really awesome.
It was not an easy race. I think matching the pace of Mercedes was not easy. Also Ferrari and Alpine, they were putting some pressure behind me. So I tried to force a mistake from Luis all race long, tried to get close, but he drove fantastically well as a champion he is, and no mistakes. I only remember one lock-up in 10:13 in 58 laps, so yeah, it was not possible today to put pressure, but we take P3.
It was wild and a bit messy at times. I think we have to look through how everything happened and what the actions were. It was a lot of things happening. It was very dynamic. Had a super start, I think this 3rd time around on softs and came up through to P4 actually. Shame that there were a few incidents and they reflected, otherwise that could have been a really strong result today.
Yeah, happy to be in the points. What better place to do it than at home? I think we were there when it mattered, and whatever bad luck we had in the first 2 races I think came out as good luck today. So we avoided all the carnage there at the end when we needed to be, and I think in clean air the pace was pretty solid for both me and Lando. I think for me, just got stuck behind Yuki for too long and kind of got dragged out of the race. So yeah, a few things to improve from my side, but for now, just happy to be in the points here at home.
Hey Carlos, what are your thoughts on that 5-second time penalty?
No, sorry, right now I cannot talk. I'm too angry, too disappointed, I just cannot say anything. I prefer to go to stewards, get the penalty away, because I don't think I deserve it, and it's the most unfair penalty I've seen in my life.
Hey Pierre, for one lap that would have been an incredible result. Just sum up your emotions right now.
I don't have anything to say. I'm just extremely disappointed, and just want to remember the positive. We didn't expect to be fighting one Ferrari and to have Alonso in my sights for most of the race, so that's what we'll remember. The rest, I just have no comment for now, and I'm way too disappointed to be standing here and looking these guys doing one lap.
Yeah, I mean, turn 1 I took it easy. Turn 3 I wasn't really planning an overtake at first on Lance. Then I saw that he had to brake very early because of Fernando in front that was braking early. So I released the brakes and put myself alongside Lance. And then Fernando had to brake even more, so Lance found himself between me and Fernando. And he couldn't turn in, and we had contact. I'm not pointing the finger on Lance because I think he just had no choice once Fernando slowed down the car the second time, and for me it was just impossible to see whether Lance was staying behind Fernando or he was just in between, which I obviously didn't think that he was there. So yeah, just extremely frustrating. I mean, it's the worst start to the season ever, really.